श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय नित्य ललित प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज शिल गुरुदेव की जाय नित्य ललित प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय नित्य ललित प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जाय नित्य ललित प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाय नित्य प्रविष्ट महाभागवत शिल गौर किशोरस बाबाजी महाराज की जाय नित्य प्रविष्ट शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जाय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जाय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय नाम चय शिलाहिरास ठाकुर की जाय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय श्री उद्धव-गीता की जाय श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर सारार्थ-darśinī वृत्ति की जाय श्री भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपादेर गौड़ीय भाष्य की जाय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा राजभुवन यादव जी प्रणाम। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। कुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तरभक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेत्य कृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतं। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमं चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं। Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Rohit Radha Krishnanji. Dandavat pranams. All right, so continuing on with Shri Uddhava-gīta. So a recap of the past couple chapters. Uddhava asked Krishna, sages recommend various processes based on the Vedas. Are all of them equally important, or is one of them supreme? Krishna replied, I manifest in the sound vibration of the Vedas, but in course of time, due to the interpretations of many kinds of people, piety and penance seemingly became seen as the topmost spiritual practices. Though it is only devotion which can purify one's consciousness completely and make one desire nothing, it is only bhakti which can purify one's consciousness and completely make one desire nothing but me. Such devotion brings me under the control of my devotee. I follow their footsteps, and with the dust of their feet, I purify the material worlds. Different methods like Ashtanga Yoga, Sankhya, piety, nonviolence, Vedic chanting, and so on cannot bring me under control. Uddhava then asked the Lord about mystic perfections. Uddhava wanted to know this process, not to practice it, but only to increase his appreciation for bhakti through comparison. Krishna explained, the process of Ashtanga Yoga constitutes of 8 types of practice by which one attains mystic perfections, siddhis. There are 18 types of siddhis, like anima are becoming smaller than the smallest, mahima are becoming bigger than the biggest, and so on. All the siddhis are ultimately futile and are impediments and a waste of time for one who practices the supreme yoga of bhakti. We spent all this time in the previous chapters. We spent like 2 days going through all these really awesome siddhis, and it was so fun. And then all of a sudden at the end, Krishna just crushes all my hopes and says, but it's all a waste of time. Yeah, okay. Krishna then described all his material and spiritual opulences, his vibhutis, and concluded, all power, beauty, fame, humility, charity, fortune, valor, tolerance, and wisdom, wherever they are manifest, are simply expansions of me. So that's what we're going to be reading today, about Krishna's vibhutis. All right, so let's get to it. We'll read the full chapter today. Let me see. Haribol, Gopikanta Prabhu, Jai Radhe. Oh, and pranams also to Indira Mataji. Oh, Madhavi Didi, I didn't see you there. Haribol, Madhavi Didi. And also Raseshwari Mataji, she's going to be having an operation soon, and so we can all pray for her that she has a successful operation, and yeah, pranams to her. When she sees this, she'll watch it later on. Oh, and Pramila Mataji, Haribol. Okay, Chapter 10, The Lord's Opulence. Chapter summary by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Gosvāmī Prabhupāda. In this chapter, the Supreme Lord describes his opulence in terms of his specific potencies of knowledge, prowess, influence, and so on. Shri Uddhava glorified Lord Krishna by saying, the Supreme Lord has no beginning nor end, and he is the cause of all living entities' creation, maintenance, and destruction. He is the supersoul of all living entities, and thus he witnesses all the activities of those in material existence by remaining within their hearts. Still, being bewildered by the Lord's external energy, the conditioned souls cannot see him. After offering these prayers at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Sri Uddhava expressed his desire to know about the Lord's various opulences as exhibited in heaven, on earth, in hell, and in all directions. Lord Sri Krishna then described all these opulences in detail and concluded by saying that all prowess, beauty, fame, opulence, modesty, charity, wonder, good fortune, heroism, forgiveness, and wisdom that are manifest in the material world are simply portions of his splendor. It therefore cannot be truthfully said that material objects possess these opulences. Such conceptions arise from mentally combining two ideas to produce an object that exists only in the imagination, like a flower in the sky. Material objects are not essentially real, and so one should not concentrate his mind on them. By regulating their speech, mind, and vital life air with the help of intelligence, devotees of the Lord perfect their existence in Krishna consciousness. 1. Shri Uddhava Uvacha Tvam Brahma Paramam Shakshar Anadyantam Apavritam Sarvesham Api Bhavanam Stityapyayodbhava. Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Lord, you are beginningless and without end, the absolute truth himself, uncovered by anything else. You are the protector and life giver, as well as the destruction and creation of all things that exist." One second, I'm going to just turn on my lights so that I know if the power goes out. Yeah. Okay. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. This chapter describes the Lord's principal opulences, as well as the extent of his influence and knowledge. The previous chapter concluded with the statement that the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord are the original cause of all mystic perfections. After hearing this, Uddhava expressed his desire to know more about Krishna's material and spiritual opulence. Sri Uddhava glorified Lord Krishna as the supreme shelter of all. He said, "O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Your form is eternal. You are without beginning, and your existence is not covered by anyone or anything. Although you appear to be limited when you descend in your human-like form, you are all-pervading. The original creator of the cosmic manifestation, Lord Vishnu, is your plenary portion. You are the protector of everyone. You sustain everyone, and you maintain all living entities." Gauḍīya Bhāṣya commentary by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Gosvāmī Prabhupāda. The Supreme Brahman, who is the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the visible material universe, is himself free of all kinds of material designations. He is not under the control of material time, because time is one of his countless manifestations. Uchavacheshu bhuteshu durgeyam akritatmabhi upasate tvam bhagavan yata tatyena brahmana. My dear Lord, although it is difficult for those who are impious to understand how you are situated in all superior and inferior creations, the Brahmanas who actually know the Vedic conclusion worship you in all sincerity. Sārārtha-darśinī. Uddhava said, "Although you are the origin of the Vishnu Tattva and you are situated within all higher and lower species of life, ignorant and impious people cannot appreciate your glories. On the other hand, Brahmanas who know the Vedas as your sound representation faithfully engage in your worship. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya commentary. The word ucca-vacca in this verse means superior and inferior. Ucca and avacca, higher and lower, or great and insignificant. When one possesses material objects, they gradually transform before one's very eyes because they are under the control of time. Therefore, to meditate on the objects of the senses will not yield a permanent result. Those who know the Vedas search for the origin of material time, place, and the candidate, and thus come to the conclusion that the devotional service of the Supreme Lord is life's actual goal. Yeshu yeshu chabhuteshu bhaktya tvam paramarshaya upasina prapadyante samsiddhim tad vadasvame. Please describe to me the perfections attained by the devotees who worship you with great and transcendental faith, and please describe the transcendental forms of your lordship that they worship. Sārārtha-darśinī. By worshipping various forms of the Lord, one can achieve the particular mystic perfections, like we read in the previous chapter. To hear about this is the request of Sri Uddhava. But we just read about that. Interesting. Okay. Gorascharasi bhutatma bhutanam bhutabhavana natvam pashyanti bhutani pashyantam mohitani te. O my Lord, maintainer of the living entities, you remain hidden within the hearts of all living entities as the Supersoul. Being bewildered by your energy, they cannot see you, although you can see everyone. Sārārtha-darśinī. For those who are conditioned by the three modes of material nature, the opulence of the Lord is incomprehensible. Uddhava said, despite your presence as a supersoul in all living entities, the conditioned souls cannot see you. Although you are the benefactor of everyone, you remain hidden within their hearts so that they cannot see you. If one reads the word bhuta bhavana without the visarga, Uddhava addresses the Lord as, O benefactor of all living entities. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The Supreme Lord is transcendentally situated, and thus beyond the reach of the material senses. The foolish conditioned souls consider God to be their order supplier. Materialistic men may sometimes appear to be very religious, but because they consider themselves to be the proprietors of God's creation, their prayers are simply that their material desires may be fulfilled. Everything within the creation is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. When the Lord sometimes appears as an incarnation, such bewildered materialists generally take him to be just another product of the modes of material nature, being unable to appreciate his transcendental position. Yakascha bhumo divivairasayam vibhutayo dikshu mahavibhute tamahyamakhya yanubhavitaste namani te tirtha padangri parmam. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, please describe to me your inconceivable potencies, which you manifest on this earth, as well as on all other planets throughout the universe. I offer my obeisances at your lotus feet, which are the shelter of all the holy places of pilgrimage. Sārārtha-darśinī. Uddhava said, because the understanding of your opulence is most confidential, you yourself must reveal this knowledge. We can know about your opulences only by your grace. For the understanding of the conditioned souls, Uddhava requests the Lord to explain how he expands his potencies by means of his various expansions. The word vibhuti in this regard refers to the Lord's material and spiritual potencies as manifested within our universe. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. To remove the ignorance of the foolish conditioned souls, the Supreme Lord accepts a mood of magnanimity and acts as an instructor. The conditioned souls, driven by the desire to cultivate knowledge of the external world, are unable to understand the existence of the absolute truth. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Evamitad aham prishta prashnam prashna vidham vara yuyutsuna vinashane sapatnar arjunena vai. The Supreme Lord said, O best among those who inquire about the truth, at Kurukshetra, as he prepared to confront his enemies, Arjuna asked me this very question that you have raised. Sārārtha-darśinī. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna inquired in a similar manner. Gyatva gyati vidangaryam adharmam rajahetukam tato nivritto hantaham hatto yam iti lokika. While seated on his chariot in the midst of the battlefield, Arjuna thought that killing his relatives would be the sinful result of aspiring to fight for a kingdom to rule. He wanted to leave the battlefield, thinking, I don't want to be the slayer of my relatives. Sārārtha-darśinī. Arjuna inquired about the Lord's opulence at a time when he had refused to fight, considering that to kill his relatives for the sake of enjoying a kingdom would be highly irreligious. Arjuna thought of himself as the killer, and his relatives as those who would be killed. These were his mundane conceptions. Satada purusha vyagro yuktya me pratibodhita abhyabhashatamam evam yatatvam ranamurdhani. I enlightened the despondent Arjuna, a tiger among men, by means of reason and argument. In the midst of the battlefield, Arjuna questioned me just as you are now inquiring. Aham atmodhavamisham bhutanam suhridishvara aham sarvani bhutani tesham stityurbhavapyaya. My dear Uddhava, I am the supersoul of all living entities, and so I am naturally their benefactor. I am the supreme controller and sustainer of all living entities, and the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Sārārtha-darśinī. Lord Sri Krishna herein describes his opulence in general. Aham gatir gati matam kala kala yatam aham gunanam chapyaham samyam guninyot patiko guna. I am the supreme destination for those who are trying to make progress, and I am time for those who attempt to exert control over others. I am the equilibrium of the three modes of material nature, and I am the natural ability of those who possess talent. Sārārtha-darśinī. The essential nature of all material and spiritual objects is that they are manifestations of the Lord's opulence. The Supreme Lord is the actual objective for fruitive workers and mental speculators. He is understood as time by those who delight in controlling others, and among the qualities, he is the special quality that is exhibited by those who possess some particular talent. The Lord is the ultimate goal for all those who The Lord is the ultimate goal for all those who search after some kind of perfection, because everything is simply a manifestation of his unlimited potencies. The results obtained by fruitive workers are awarded by the Supreme Lord through the agency of the demigods. Mental speculators may abandon the fruits of their labor, but their quest is to realize the all-pervading aspect of the Lord, known as Brahman. Materialists run after the temporary objects displayed by the Lord's illusory energy, and thus miss the chance for self-realization. Those who reject material variegatedness and consider the absolute truth to be devoid of qualities cannot understand how the Supreme Lord possesses transcendental qualities. In this way, it is seen that the Supreme Lord is the ultimate goal of all kinds of people. Those who desire to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and those who desire to become one with the Supreme, are covered by the external energy of the Lord. The actual goal of life is to engage in the Lord's loving devotional service on the transcendental platform. Guninam apyaham sutrang mahatam cha mahan aham shukshmanam apyaham jivo durjayanam aham mana. Among things that possess qualities, I am the primary manifestation of nature. And among great things, I am the Mahatattva, the total material manifestation. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul. And among things that are difficult to conquer, I am the mind. Sārārtha-darśinī. Haribo Suryavididi. The word sutra indicates the primary manifestation of nature. Here, the Lord says, among things that are difficult to control, I am the mind. And among subtle things, I am the spirit soul. This is also described in the Vedas. Esho nur atmachetasa veditavyo yasmin prana panchada samvishvesha pranashchitam sarvam otom prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavat esha atma sai. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. The atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air, pran, apan, vyan, saman, and udan. So the atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air and is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. That's the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.9. Elsewhere it is stated, Balagra shatabhagyasa shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jiva vigyeya sa. Usually sa comes before vigyeya. Chanantyaya. Oh no, sorry, never mind. Sa chanantyaya kalpate. Sorry about that. Bhago jiva vigyeya. Okay, anyways. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again, each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. That's from Shvetashvatara Upanishad 5.9. The dimension of the spirit soul is smaller than the tip of an arrow. Although the spirit soul is minute in size, like an atom, it is spread all over the body, and its energy works throughout the body. As a precious jewel or powerful medicine, although covered by lac, manifests its effect when touched to the head, the minute size of the spirit soul does not hamper his display of prowess. We see the same jiva spreading throughout the body of an elephant, and we see also the same jiva spreading throughout the body of a tiny ant. One second. I have to take my medicine. Actually, let's see. 1 second. I'm on a Ayurvedic program. Sorry. Okay. Hiranyagarbha Vedanam Mantranam Pranavasturivit Aksharanam akarosmi padani chandusam aham. I am the original teacher of the Vedas, Hiranyagarbha, Lord Brahma. And among mantras, I am the three-lettered Omkar. Among letters, I am the first letter Akara. And among sacred hymns, I am the Gayatri mantra. Sārārtha-darśinī. The Lord says that among the teachers of the Vedas, he is Hiranyagarbha Brahma, and among the sacred hymns of the Vedas, he is the Gayatri mantra. Indroham sarvadevanam vasunam asmi havyavat adityanam aham Vishnu rudranam nilalohita. Among the demigods, I am Indra, and among the Vasus, I am Agni. Among the Adityas, I am Vishnu, and among the Rudras, I am Shiva. Pramila Mataji. So these airs are the components of Satchidananda. One second, we're on verse 14, just making... No, they're not. No, they don't have anything to do with Satchidananda. Let's just look at this again. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. The atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air and is situated within the heart. It spreads its influence all over the body of a living entity. So this is talking about the material body. The 5 types of air: Pran, Apan, Vyan, Saman, and Udan. So yeah, this is talking about where it is floating inside the material body in the 5 kinds of air. Basically, it's giving these 5 kinds of air is what gives life to the body, and so the soul is what's floating inside that which is giving life to the body. I mean, because the soul is what gives life to the body. But yeah, these are material, not Satchidananda. It's not saying the soul is composed of these, it's just where the soul is situated. Okay, so now 14. Brahmarshinam Brigur Aham Rajarshinam Aham Manu Devarshinam Naradoham Havirdhanyasmi Dhenushu. Among great sages, I am Bhrigu, and among saintly kings, I am Manu. That used to be my name before I got Harinam from Gurudev. I am Narad Muni. I am Narad Muni among saintly demigods, and among cows, I am the Kamadhenu. Sārārtha-darśinī. The word Havirdhani refers to the cow known as Kamadhenu, or wish-fulfilling cow. Siddheshwaranam Kapila Suparnoham Patatrinam Prajapatinam Dakshoham Pitrinam Ahamaryamam. Among perfected beings, I am Kapila, and among birds, I am Garuda. Among progenitors of mankind, I am Daksha, and among the forefathers, I am Aryama. Mam vidyudavadaityanam praladam asureshwaram somam nakshatra shadhinam dhanesham rakshasam. My dear Uddhav, among the Daitas, I am Prahlad Maharaj, the king of the demons. Among the stars and medicinal herbs, I am the moon god. And among the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the god of wealth, Kuvera. Airavatam Gajendranam Yadasam Varunam Prabhum Tapatam Dyumatam Suryam Manushyanam Chabhupatim. Among lordly elephants, I am Airavat, and among the aquatics, I am Varuna, the lord of the seas. Among things that heat and illuminate, I am the sun, and among human beings, I am the king. Uchai Shravas turanganam dhatunam asmi kanchanam yama samyamatam chaham sarpanam asmi vasuki. Among horses, I am Uchai Shrava, and among the metals, I am gold. Among those who award punishment, I am Yamaraj, and among serpents, I am Vasuki. Nagendranam anantoham, mrigendra shringidam shtarinam, ashramanam aham turyo, varnanam prathamo nagha. O sinless Uddhav, among the foremost of Nagas, I am Ananta, and among those animals who have sharp horns and teeth, I am the lion. Among the ashramas, I am the fourth, the sannyas ashram, and among the varnas, I am first, the brahmanas. Tirtanam srotasam ganga, samudra sarasamaham, ayudhanam dhanur aham, tripuragno dhanushmatam. Among holy places and rivers, I am the Ganges, and among steady bodies of water, I am the ocean. Among weapons, I am the bow, and among wielders of weapons, I am Lord Shiva. Dishnyanam asmaham merur, gahananam himalaya, vanaspatinam ashvata, oshadhinam aham yava. Among residences, I am Mount Sumeru, and among unyielding places, I am the Himalayas. Among trees, I am the Ashvata, and among medicinal plants, I am barley. Purodhasam vasishtoham, brahmashtanam brihaspati, skandoham sarvasenanyam, agranyam bhagavan aja. Among priests, I am Vashishta, and among those who are well versed in the Vedas, I am Brihaspati. Among military commanders, I am Kartikeya, and among those who are advancing in spiritual life, I am Brahma. Yagyanam Brahma Yagyoham, Vratanam Avihingsanam, Vajnarkam Bhuvagatma, Shuchinam Apyaham Shuchi. Hey, somebody just took my tent down. Among sacrifices, I am the study of the Vedas. Among vows, I am a non-devotee. Acha? Oh my God. Oh, acha. 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 Oh my God. Acha, acha. Ha. Oh. ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ Oh my God. ঠিক আছে আমার পাঠ চলছে এখন ঠিক আছে ধন্যবাদ Okay, my tent flew away. Okay. What was I saying? Okay. Yagyanam brahma yagyoham vratanam avihingsanam vaivagnya. Okay, I already read that. Suchinam apyaham suchi. Among sacrifices, I am the study of the Vedas. Among vows, I am non-violence. Among all things that purify, I am the air, fire, the sun, water, and speech. Among vows, I am non-violence. That's interesting. Yoganam atmasangrodho mantrosmi vijigishatam anvikshiki koshalanam vikalpa kyativadinam. Among the 8 parts of Ashtanga Yoga, I am Samadhi, whereby the soul is liberated from illusion. Among those who desire victory, I am good moral counsel. Among all types of logical discrimination, I am the intelligence that allows one to discriminate between matter and spirit. And among philosophers, I am the sense of discrimination. Strinam tu shatarupaham pungsam swayam bhuvo mano narayano muninam cha kumaro brahmacharinam. Among women, I am Shatarupa, and among men, I am Swayambhuva Manu. Among sages, I am Narayan, and among brahmacharis, I am Sanat Kumar. Dharmanam asmi sannyasa, kshemanam abahirmati, goyanam sunritam monam, mithunanam ajastvaham. Among all religious principles, I am the renunciation of material enjoyment, and of all types of welfare, I am realization of the eternal soul within the material body. Among secret things, I am silence, and among those possessing sexual prowess, I am Prajapati Brahma. Sārārtha-darśinī. In the Vedas, it is stated, Ardho va isha atma yat patni, which means the wife is the better half of a man's body. Samvatsaros smyani misham rito namadhumadhavo masanam margashirshoham nakshatranam tata bijit. Among the cycles of time, I am the year, and among seasons, I am spring. Among months, I am Margashirsha, that's November, December. And among the stars, I am Abhijit. That comes in November, December. Sārārtha-darśinī. It is stated in the Vedas that Abhijit is situated between Uttarashada and Shravana. Aham yuganam chakritam dhiranam devalosita Dvaipayanosmi vyasanam kavinam kavya atmavan. Among yugas, I am Satya Yuga, the age of truth, and among sober sages, I am Devala and Asita. Among those who divided the Vedas, I am Krishna Dvaipayana Veda Vyas, and among learned scholars, I am the wise Shukracharya, who is learned in the spiritual science. Vasudevo Bhagavatam Tvam tu Bhagavateshvaham Kim Purushanam Hanuman Vidyadhranam Sudarshanam. Among personalities who are entitled to be called Bhagavan, I am Vasudev, and you, Uddhav, represents me among the devotees. Among the Kim Purushas, I am Hanuman, and among the Vidyadharas, I am Sudarshan. Ratnanam Parmaragosmi Parmakosha Parmakosha Supeshasam Koshosmi Darbhajatinam Kavyam Ajyam Havishvaham. Among jewels, I am the ruby, and among beautiful things, I am the whorl of the lotus. Among grasses, I am the sacred kusha grass, and among oblations meant for sacrifice, I am cow's ghee. Vyavasayinam aham lakshmi, gitavanam chalagraha, titikshvasmi titikshunam, sattvam sattvavatam aham. I am the wealth of those who are enterprising, and among the cheaters, I am gambling. I am the forgiveness of those who are tolerant, and I am the good qualities of those who are situated in the mode of goodness. Ojasoha balavatam karmaham vidisatvatam satvatam navamurtinam adimurtir aham para. Of those who are exceptionally powerful, I am mental and physical strength, and I am the devotional activities of the devotees. Among the nine forms worshipped by devotees, I am Vasudeva. Sārārtha-darśinī. The personality of Godhead expands as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayan, Hayagriva, Varaha, and Nrsimha, and sometimes he accepts the post of Brahma. It has been explained that when no one is qualified to occupy the post of Brahma, the Lord himself accepts this position. Lord Vishnu also sometimes appears as Indra. During the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, Lord Vishnu appeared as Indra, and in some kalpas, Lord Vishnu appeared as Brahma. Vishvavasu purvachittir gandharvapsarasam aham bhudaranam aham stairyam gandhamatram aham bhuva. Among the Gandharvas, I am Vishvavasu, and among the Apsaras, I am Purvachitti. I am the immovability of mountains, and I am the original fragrance of the earth. Sārārtha-darśinī. The world matra, that's supposed to say word, right? I don't know. The word matra indicates the original fragrance of the world, of the earth, I think so. In the Bhagavad-gīta 7.9, Lord Krishna says, Punyo gandha prativyam cha. I am the original fragrance of the earth. The original fragrance of the earth is very pleasing, and it represents Lord Krishna. Apam rashas chaparamas tejishtanam vibhavasu prabhasuryendu taranam shabdoham nabhasa para. I am the taste of water, and I am the light of the sun, moon, and stars. I am the transcendental sound vibration heard within the sky. Sārārtha-darśinī. By the use of the word parama, or excellent, other tastes, such as sour and bitter, have been rejected. The word para in this verse is used to indicate transcendental sound. Brahmanyanam balir aham Viranam aham arjuna bhutanam stitirutpatir aham vai pratisankrama. Among those who are dedicated to maintaining Brahminical culture, I am Bali Maharaj, the son of Virochana. And among heroic warriors, I am Arjuna. Indeed, I am the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of all living entities. Sārārtha-darśinī. The word pratisamkrama refers to annihilation. God, that's difficult to say. Gatyuktyut sargotpadanam anandam sparsha lakshanam ashvada shrutyava granam aham sarvendriyendriyam. I am the functions of the legs, such as walking, and I am the functions of the hands, such as picking up. I am speaking, evacuation, the pleasure of the genitals, touching, seeing, tasting, hearing, and smelling. I am the potency by which each of the senses experiences its particular sense object. Sārārtha-darśinī. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna provides the potency whereby the 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses can act. This is confirmed in the Vedas, wherein it is stated that the Lord supplies the energy whereby the senses can abstract pleasure from the sense objects. Prithvi vayurakasha apojyotiraham mahan vikara purusho vyaktam rajasatvam tamaparam aham etat prasankhyanam jnanam tattva vinishchaya. I am the form, taste, smell, touch, and sound. False ego, the Mahat Tattva, the 5 gross material elements, the 11 senses, the spirit soul, material nature, the 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, as well as the transcendental Lord. I am all of these things, as well as the knowledge of their characteristics and the conviction brought about by this knowledge. Sārārtha-darśinī. After giving a detailed summary of his opulences within this world, the Lord now describes the opulences that are expansions of his effulgence. The word Prithvi, or earth, indicates its subtle fragrance. The word aham refers to ahankar, or false ego. The word mahan refers to the Mahat-tattva. These 7 are transformations of material nature. The 5 gross material elements are earth, water, fire, air, and sky. The 11 senses include the 5 working senses, the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, and the mind. The word Purusha refers to the living entity. Thus, the total number of items is 25. In Sankhya philosophy, the 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are also included. These are all opulences of the Supreme Lord. Maheshvarena jivena gunena gunina vina sarvatmanapi sarvena na bhavo vidyate kvachit. As the absolute truth, I am the origin of the living entity, the 3 modes of material nature, and the Mahat-tattva. I am in one sense everything, and so nothing can exist without me. Sārārtha-darśinī. When the Mahat-tattva, our total material existence, combines with the jivas, or living entities, this material world becomes manifest. Everything that we experience within this world is a combination of the living entity, and material energy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of both the living entities and matter. Thus, it should be concluded that nothing can exist without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. The cosmic manifestation is a combination of the Supreme Lord's 2 energies, the living entities and the illusory energy, Maya. Because the energy and the energetic are ultimately one, when we speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of his energies are automatically included. One should never make the mistake of equating the temporary material nature with the eternal spiritual abode of the Lord. One should not conclude that the perverted nature of material existence also exists in the eternal realm, which is full of spiritual variegatedness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the entire basis of the existence of both the living entity and matter. Sankhyanam paramanunam kalena kriyate maya na tata me vibhutinam srijato dhanikotisha. Although it might be possible for me to count all the atoms within the universe, I could never count all the opulences that I manifest within the innumerable universes. Sārārtha-darśinī. In this verse, the Supreme Lord gives a hint of the extent of his opulence. The Supreme Lord said, "It is certainly possible for me to count the number of atoms in the universe, but it is impossible for anyone to estimate the existence of my opulence. When there is no estimate of the innumerable universes that I have created, how can the opulence that is present within those innumerable universes be estimated?" Teja Shri Kirtaraishvaryam Hristyaga Sobhagam Bhagha Viryam Tatiksha Vijnanam Yatra Yatra Samengshaka. Whatever prowess, beauty, fame, opulence, modesty, renunciation, good fortune, mental and sensual pleasure, strength, forgiveness, and knowledge of the self one finds in existence are but manifestations of a portion of my splendor. Sārārtha-darśinī. The word Teja in this verse means influence, and the word Shri means opulence. The word Sobhagam refers to that which is pleasing to the mind and the senses. The word Bhaga means good fortune. The word Virya means strength, and the word Angshaka means portion of. Ataste kirtita sarva sankshepena vibhutaya mano vikara evaite yatha vacha bidhiyate. I have thus briefly described to you my manifestation of opulences, as well as some of the characteristics of the material creation that can be perceived by the conditioned souls and thus defined in various ways. Sārārtha-darśinī. The Lord's external opulences are herein referred to as mano-vikāraha, which means that they are perceived in various ways according to a conditioned soul's mentality. The word vacha-bidhiyate indicates the same thing, that conditioned souls describe the nature of the universe according to their capacity or mentality. It is for this reason that the external opulence of the Lord is considered inferior and not the direct manifestation of the Lord. The same person can evoke opposing conceptions within the mind of the conditioned soul. In a favorable state of mind, one designates someone as my son, or my father, my husband, my friend, and so on, forgetting that everyone is an eternal part and parcel of the Lord. Similarly, in a negative state of mind, one may think, this person is my enemy, and so on, forgetting that everyone is the Lord's eternal servant. The example can be given of the demigod Indra, who is a manifestation of the Lord's material opulence, and is thus considered in various ways. Indra's wife, mother, son, and guru naturally think of him in favorable terms, whereas the demons think of him as their enemy. It is for this reason that the Lord's material opulences are referred to here as mano-vikāra. Such relative perceptions are certainly material because they fail to express the truth, that all living entities are the Lord's eternal parts and parcels. When a devotee sees Lord Krishna as the origin and proprietor of all kinds of opulence, and therefore renounces the desire to enjoy or possess them, these opulences are considered spiritual. In such consciousness, although one remains within the material world, one sees the opulences of the Lord as they are. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. Oh my God, it's already 8:30. We're nearly at the ends though. Just let's see. If the next verses have long purports, then I won't read them, but let's see. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. Opulence refers to the visible objects as perceived according to the transformations of the mind. Such mundane perception of opulence cannot give a clear understanding of the supremacy of the Lord's actual position. One should not wrongly assume that such insignificant material opulences occupy the same status as the Lord's plenary features in his position as the personality of Godhead, which are qualitatively and quantitatively equal to the Lord. What was that? One should not wrongly assume that such insignificant material opulences occupy the same status. Yeah, we can never... Yeah, okay, got it. Let's see, how long is that? Oh, we're at the end. There's short commentaries, so I'm going to read everything. Vacham yacha mano yacha pranam yachendriyani cha atmanam atmana yacha na bhuya kalpase dvane. Therefore, control your speech, subdue the mind, conquer the life air, and regulate the senses, and bring your rational faculties under control by means of purified intelligence. By doing so, you will never again fall down to the path of material existence. Sārārtha-darśinī. The Supreme Lord said, because everything is a manifestation of my opulence, you should respect all things by means of your body, mind, and speech. You should never chastise or blaspheme anyone out of envy. Wow, important instruction. It is stated in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam 12.6.34, Ativadangsthatikksheta navamanyeta kanchana nache mam dehamashritya vairam kurvita kenachit. One should tolerate all the insults of others and never fail to show proper respect to anyone. Avoiding identification with the material body, one should not create enmity with anyone. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. If we carefully control the activities of our speech, mind, and senses, then we will never come under the sway of the illusory energy of the Lord, thinking of ourselves as the enjoyer. In that condition of self-control, one resides in the spiritual kingdom, which is situated beyond this material realm of anxiety. Yo vaivang manasi samyag asamyachan dhiyayati tasya vratam tapodanam sravatyama gatam bhuvat. A transcendentalist who does not completely control his speech and mind by superior intelligence will find his vows, austerities, and charity lost, just as water flows out of an unbaked clay pot. Wow, so everything is lost if we don't control our speech and mind by superior intelligence. Okay. Sārārtha-darśinī. Despite accepting the renounced order of life, if one does not carefully control his speech and mind, then his spiritual practices, such as the execution of vows, performance of austerities, and the charity of leading others to spiritual life, will be lost, just as water kept in an unbaked clay pot leaks out and is lost. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. If a liquid is kept in a baked clay pitcher, it will not leak out. But if it is kept in an unbaked clay vessel, it will gradually flow out of the container. Similarly, for those who cannot follow the principles of the Tridandis, there is no possibility of achieving perfection. Now we come to the last verse with a short purport. Tasmar vacho mana pranam niyachen matparayana mar bhakti yuktaya buddhya tata pari samapyate. A devotee who is surrendered to me should carefully control his mind, speech, and life air. By engaging his intelligence in my loving devotional service, the devotee attains the perfection of life. Gauḍīya Bhāṣya. In this verse, it is stressed that one's intelligence should be saturated with feelings of loving devotion for the Lord. This can be developed by regularly chanting the Gayatri Mantra, which is awarded by the spiritual master. By means of clear intelligence, one naturally becomes disinclined to perform fruitive activities or engage in mental speculation, and one naturally becomes inclined to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus ends the translation of the 10th chapter of the Uddhava-gīta, entitled The Lord's Opulence, with the commentaries of Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura and the chapter summary and purports by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura, Prabhupāda. So tomorrow we will read Lord Krishna's description of the Varnashram system. Thanks for letting me go so far over time, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do Jaidvani, and then for those who want to stay, I'm going to sing Keshavashtakam. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupāda Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupāda Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Gauḍīya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Patadasha Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Oh, do you want to see some pictures of Chandan Yatra from yesterday? Hey, where are all my photos? I took a bunch of photos at Devananda Gaudiya Math, and anyways. whatever is Lakshmi Varahadev. Oh, I forgot to pranam. Vanchakalpa Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashita Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Alright, so this is last night in our mat. This devotee Chandrasekhar Prabhu, he's so good. Beautiful, huh? All right, so let's sing Keshavashtakam now. Okay, bookmarks. Where is it? Keshavat begins. Okay, I'm just getting my mridanga. Nava Shri Keshavashtakam by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī. Nava Priya Kamanjari Rachita Karna Pura Shriyam Vinedratara Malati Kalita Shekare no Jvalam Daroj Vasita Yutika Gratita Valgovai Kakshakam Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Pishangi Manikastani Pranata Shringi Pingekshani Mridanga Mukhi Dumale Shabali Hangsi Vangshi Priye Iti Sasura Bikulam Taralama Vayantam Muda Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Kana Pranaya Meduran Madhura Narma Goshti Kala Vilasa Nilayan Milay Vivida Vesha Vedotina Sakena Kila Saraya Patishoha Sayantam Gira Vraje Vijay Avraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Shramam Bukanika Vali Daravili Dagandantaram Samuda Giri Dhatugir Likita Charupantrankuram Udancharali Mandali Duti Vidam Bivakralakam Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Nibadda Navatarnaka Vali Vilokanot Kantaya Nathat Kuraputan Chalai Alogo Bir Bhuvam Bindatim Kalena Dhavala Ghata Lago Nirvartayantam Puro Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Padankatati Birvaram Virachayantam Atvashiyam Chalat Tarala Naichiki Nichaya Dhuli Dhumra Sajam Marulla Hari Chanchali Krita Dukula Churanchalam Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam Vilasa Murali Kala Dvani Birulasan Manasa Shanara Kila Ballavi Pulakayantamantargrihe Muhur Vidatatang Hridi Pramuditancha Goshteshvarim Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam Upetyapati Sundari Tati Virabhyarchitam Smitankura Karambitar Natarapanga Bhangi Shatai Stanastava Sanchara Nayana Chanchari Kanchalam Vraje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam Idam Nikila Ballavi Kula Mahotsavo Lasanam Kramena Kilaya Puman Patati Shushtu Padyashtakam Tam Ujvala Diyam Sada Nijapadara Vindatvaye Ratim Dadata Chanchalam Sukayatar Vishaka Sakam Raje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam Raje Vijayinam Bhaje Vipinadeshata Keshavam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Jaya Keshav Jaya Keshav Keshav Jaya Keshav Jaya Keshav Keshav Jaya Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Keshav Dev ki Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai Shri Prabhupāda ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hari Bol everybody. So I'll see you all tomorrow for what is it? We'll read about Varnashram, Krishna's instructions on Varnashram.